come on, man. Really? Y'all got me
YouTube, what is up? Mothman here, back with another video. Today I kind of wanted to take the time to talk about a subject that many people are kind of scared to get into, and I think it's the perfect time to start doing it in 2023. And that's kind of like the state of video game collecting as a whole, what I think is the best generation to collect at this very moment, and why I think you should start right now, ASAP. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more memes, playthroughs, reviews, and anything gaming. Alright guys, let's get it.
Now, before I reveal what console generation I think is the best to start collecting in 2023, let's take a look at the whole retro market as a whole. I think at this point we all know how expensive the hobby can be when we're talking about things like the GameCube, the 3DS, and especially now with the 3DS store no longer being supported, as well as your occasional Nintendo 64 game like Clay Fighter. I mean, come on, man. Really? Y'all got me fucked up, my boys. I think the pandemic sort of traumatized everyone a little bit, or a lot depending on who you ask. It left many of us longing for those nights where you could snuggle up in a tiger blanket, drinking some hot chocolate on cold rainy nights without a single care in the world. At least for us Hispanics, it was like that. Thanks, mom. But in all honesty, I got the retro collecting bug myself around 2021. I finally started collecting again, but damn, I got in a little bit late. At least that's how I felt for things like GameCube. Now, the GameCube as a whole, that system is very iconic. I think that's a big reason why Resident Evil, Pokemon, Super Mario, Metroid, and Legend of Zelda series hit upwards of 100 on that console itself. Like, you'll see Resident Evil 2 for 100 complete in box, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis 100 complete in box, Super Mario Sunshine hits somewhere around the $60 mark complete in box, the Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition for $60 complete in box, and there's one in particular for the GameCube that I've been trying to get my hands on, but it's still like very high price. It's Pokemon Gale of Darkness, which hits upwards of 200 complete in box. Like, that's insane, bro. And that's just to name a few. I think the retro market has been invaded by people who would rather make a quick buck than are actually passionate about the hobby. Like, even during the pandemic and a little bit afterwards, I started collecting Pokemon cards, and I kind of got into it when it was the celebration pack with like the original like base set, Blastoise, you had Charizard, Venusaur, but Pokemon as well. I kind of just, that whole market is inflated and people are getting crazy with the prices and everyone's trying to make a quick buck on that for sure. They use Pokemon as stocks, and honestly that kind of turned me away. But for all of y'all that are just collecting to make a quick buck, y'all can go eat a big old bag of Alright, so I don't really know what it is about Nintendo. I think it's just the fact that they got such a big dedicated fan base. But if you look to other things other than Nintendo, I think 2023 is like a perfect point to start your retro collection, or even just game collecting as a whole. Alright, drum roll. The generation that I think you should be collecting in 2023 is Generation 6 consoles. The Generation 6 consoles as well as the games can be found at a very good price, especially in 2023 when it seems like a lot of people are just prioritizing anything Nintendo or GameCube or 64, stuff like that. Now, if you're not familiar with Generation 6, this is, in my opinion, and no disrespect to the retro classics like NES, SNES, and the Sega Genesis, the best generation of consoles of all time. No debate. Generation 6 includes the PS2, the original Xbox, and of course the GameCube. But of course, as I mentioned before, the console just gets scalped way too goddamn much. Like, just recently I decided to hit up my local thrift shop and managed to get me the original fat PS2, and I went on another day and managed to get me the slim PS2 for $45 each. And I wanted to test my luck, so I was like, you know what, let me go back, and I managed to get the Nintendo Wii for $40. And the Nintendo Wii is like one of those consoles where a lot of people will argue that it's one of the best consoles, you know? It introduced motion controls and one of the best game libraries to date, and if you were to get the original model, you can still run like GameCube games, so it's one of those like no-brainer pickups. It's not a guarantee you'll find bangers, but I think with some patience and constantly looking around, you can get a Generation 6 console with a controller for under $60. Even eBay constantly has them for around $120 to no more than $140 depending on the seller. Come on y'all, we're grown-up kids with adult money. That's chump change to what we used to get as kids. Generation 6 is home to some of PlayStation's and Xbox's most iconic titles. PS2 has Resident Evil 4, Max Payne, True Crime, GTA 3, GTA Vice City, GTA San Andreas, Midnight Club, Devil May Cry, Ratchet & Clank, Sly Cooper, Jak and Daxter, all of which made their debut on this generation and continue to be a powerhouse in modern generations. Although I'm still waiting on another Jak and Daxter. Come on, Sony, please. The original Xbox's library is no stranger to amazing games. Like the game that got me into competitive shooters as a whole was Halo, Combat Evolved, and Halo 2, which pretty much became the original Xbox's console seller to Microsoft. If you had an Xbox but you didn't play Halo, you were probably bullied. Nah, I'm just messing around, but Halo is king. The original Xbox also had a bunch of bangers like Blinks, Mad Dash Racing, Hunter the Reckoning, Legacy of Kain, Jet Set Radio Future, which were console defining in their own right, as well as Xbox's answer to Mario Party, which was Fusion Frenzy, which was a ridiculously over-the-top party game that was more realistic, kind of like if Squid Game were to make a game. Now, I'm not saying console or games are always available, but if you search around in your local thrift stores, pawn shops, and even local retro stores, which surprisingly have made a resurgence these past years, you can find these games ranging anywhere from $5 to no more than $40 for some of the most common ones. But that's not to say that this generation of consoles also has their fair share of scalpers. I think some of the more expensive games on PS2 are things like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which is always priced no less than $200, Time Crisis 3, which at one point was bundled with 2 peripheral guns for $600, Silent Hill Shattered Memories going for $300, and some of my favorite games on the PS2, the Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi trilogy, those games are also going around no less than $250. And I think the craziest thing is that a lot of us growing up had all these games, but life happens. Sometimes we need the money, sometimes we need the space, or other times we thought we'd never want to play them again. And it seems like lately in 2023 there's this trend where people are selling their collections and they're making videos about it. I'm no one to judge, but I don't know, I feel like there's other alternatives to be able to keep your collection while still getting the money you need. But anyway, the PS2, like many other consoles, does have some niche pricey games, but the majority of them got reproduced so much you can find them very cheap. So I definitely would recommend starting up a PS2 collection in 2023. Alright, now for the original Xbox. Some of the more expensive games on Xbox are games like Outrun 2006, which can range anywhere from $100 to $200 complete in box. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which again, one of the best fighting games to have hit arcades and consoles, and arguably the best fighting game next to Street Fighter 2. Again, this game, no less than $200. There is an interesting game that for some reason, although an amazing show for sure, Futurama the game for some reason is upwards of $200. I don't know, maybe someone in the comments below can help me out why they think that this game is priced like this, because I have no idea. Another one for Generation 6 that is both priced pretty high on both consoles is Death Jam Fight for New York, which can hit anywhere from $45 to $100, complete in box. Now, what we can see that these consoles have in common was the games that were ported for both the PS2 and the original Xbox. That's why you can always count on there being an overlap on pricing. I think for the time, the original Xbox was considered the more powerful one, but PS2, in my opinion, just felt better. I don't know, maybe I'm biased because I play primarily on that, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you preferred, PS2 or Xbox. Alright, so with all that being said, I think Generation 6 is probably the best console generation to start collecting in 2023. This is in part due for 2 reasons: the crazy good library of games and how ridiculously easy and cheap the games are. But honestly, I want to hear what y'all are collecting, so let me know in the comments below. What generation of console is your favorite? What are you currently collecting, and what do you think will go up in the near future?
Alright, so I definitely didn't mean to scare y'all, but I think right now is the perfect time for y'all to go out, scavenge, ask your friends, go to pawn shops, thrift stores, whatever y'all gotta do to get your game on and to collect, because I think this thing's just gonna get worse and people are gonna begin scalping PS2, Xbox, and a bunch of other stuff. But I think perfect time, guys, go out and collect. All right, I'm Mothman. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more memes, reviews, playthroughs, and anything gaming. All right, guys, peace.